If you are curious about the law of attraction, then stay tuned. In this video, you will learn about how Jack Canfield uses the law of attraction in his life. Hello, my name is Stephen Dobos and I am an abundance scientist and coach. If you would like to receive more videos like this, then please like and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Jack, can you tell a story? I remember hearing this story in one of the courses I was in with you. You were sharing about your first $100,000 and the way that you visualized that and what you did to actually get your first 100 grand.
Sure.
So could you share that story, please, with the viewers?
It's a quintessential law of attraction story because all the elements are there. I was working originally for a man named W. Clement Stone. He was a good friend of Napoleon Hill who wrote Think and Grow Rich, and he was worth, I think, about $600 million back in the 1968-70 period. That's when I was working with him. And he challenged me to set a goal that was so big and so beyond what I believe was possible at the time, because I've been making $8,000 a year, I think was my salary at the time. This is like 69, so it's a long time ago. Anyway, he said, so do that. So anyway, I said, well, $100,000 a year, that would just be ridiculous. That's like 12 and a half times what I'm making right now. He said, great. And, do what I taught you to do, which is have a goal, make it specific, make sure that you it's measurable. Well, 100,000 is, create an affirmation. So I created an affirmation. God is my unlimited supply and large sums of money come to me quickly and easily under the grace of God for the highest good of all concerned as I easily earn, invest, and spend $100,000 a year. It was a long one back then. I'll make them shorter now. Today it would be, I'm so happy and grateful to be earning that I've just earned $100,000 a year. But anyway, so that was my affirmation. And then he said, make sure you visualize living that lifestyle. So my wife and I, we cut out a big piece of green, flip chart paper, opaque projector. We projected onto that $100 bill. And then we added a bunch of extra zeros on it. Spent about an hour and a half drawing it, put it on the ceiling. We'd wake up every morning, taped to the ceiling, we'd see it. And then I'd close my eyes and I'd visualize $100,000 a year lifestyle. Like, where would we live? At the time I was collecting Navajo rugs. There'd be a lot of Navajo rugs on the walls and the floors, and we'd have a nice car and we'd take vacations, the whole thing, nice house and all that. So I just do that every morning, and I go take my shower, and about 30 days into it, I have my first $100,000 idea. And there's a lot of research that shows that it takes about 30 days, depending on what techniques you're using, to kind of create new neural pathways in the brain. And some people say 60 days and whatever. But anyway, so I'm in the shower, and all of a sudden I went, oh, you have a book called 100 Ways to Enhance Self-Concept in the Classroom. And every time you sell that, you get 25-cent royalty. Again, we're I think the book came out in 76. So this was probably, 79, something like that. No, it would have been about 78. So anyway, so I'm going to do this. And so I start visualizing selling 100,000 books. I see storefront windows with it. I see a check for $100,000 made out from a publisher for the book. Now I have I've got a strategy now. Before it was just a goal. I start visualizing all that. And then my wife and I started having these creative ideas. Well, I was in my grandmother's bathroom. Your reticular activating system in your brain starts to open up and see things in your environment that were always there that could be solutions. So I'm in my grandmother's bathroom and I look down, I've been there 100 times, and I see Reader's Digest. And it says 8 million readers in 37 languages or something like that. And I said, why 8 million readers? If 8 million readers knew about my book, certainly 100,000 people or 400,000 people would buy it. That's what it would take to get 100,000. So I write an article for Reader. Well, first I called him up to see how much an ad would cost, and it was like $108,000. I said, for a full page ad. I went, I'm not doing that. I lose $8,000. That doesn't work out. So I thought, well, there's articles in there. I wrote an article. I sent it off to, there were 32 editors listed in the masthead. I sent one to everyone. About a month later, I get a letter from someone who says, but Mr. Canfield, I have 38 copies of your article on my desk because I'm the education editor. They all got forwarded to me. Next time, send one. And we're not publishing your article, So I said, okay. And then I'm at the supermarket and I see the National Enquirer. It says 12 million readers weekly. I said, whoa, that's better than the Reader's Digest. So now I say, how do I get in there? I look at the ads. The ads are still too expensive. And but I start thinking, I got to get in Reader's Digest. I got to get in the National Enquirer. I'm visualizing that. Mm-hmm. And then about a week or two after that, I'm down at Hunter College in New York, and I'm giving a speech to about 600 educators. They put on this education conference. I was kind of a self-esteem expert at that time. And this woman comes up at the end of my talk. She says, oh my God, that was amazing. Can I interview you? And I said, sure. I said, who do you write for? She said, I'm a freelancer, but most of my stuff is published in the National Enquirer. And I'm going, do, 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 do. It's like the Twilight Zone. And so she went ahead, she published it. I started selling a lot more books. And then I realized, my wife said, you know, if we were a bookstore, we'd sell the book. The book was $6.50. If you can remember buying a book for that little money back then. And so she said, if we sell the book, we buy it for $3, sell it for $6, we'd make $3. Now we only have to sell 33,000, not 400,000. We should start a bookstore. So we have a bookstore with one product, my book, but it's all, you know, it's before the internet. So it's like we sending out newsletters and stuff. And eventually we realized we should have other products. So we had other self-esteem audio tapes and books for parents. And it's now we're about 7 months into the year, and we've got a 32 product, 8-page catalog we're sending out to educators and schools. University of Massachusetts finds out, they said, hey, we're having a counselors conference. You got all these books that I think would be valuable. Could you set up a bookstore? So I set up a bookstore, made $2,000 profit that weekend. And went, wow, if we do that every week, that's $100,000 a year business. Yeah. The last thing that happened is my speaking. So I was charging $300 a day to work with schools, do anything, keynote all day, whatever. And I called up my friend Hanoch McCarty. He was, he's half Jewish and half Irish. So his name's Hanoch McCarty. And we were graduate students together. And I said, how you doing, Hanoch? And we were talking. And I said, by the way, what do you charge for your speaking these days? He said, $1,200. I went, $1,200? How do you get $1,200 from school systems? He said, I asked for it. I said, wow. So that to me was like becoming part of the evil capitalist world. I'm going to ask for $1,200 for these poor schools. It was scary for me to do that. Anyway, I finally got up the courage, and I practiced in the mirror. What's your fee? $1,200. What's your fee? $1,200. What's your fee? Get comfortable. So this place in Iowa calls me and asks me to come out and do a day at their mental health conference on a Saturday. I said, great. They said, what's your fee? And I went, $800. I couldn't even say it. And they said, oh, that's fine. No problem. No sweat. I said, no sweat. I said, what would a sweat been? I said, well, we had about $2,000 in the budget for the speaker. And I said, oh. So the next person that called me, I forget what I asked for, but it was like $1,200 or whatever. Anyway, so I quadrupled my speaking fee toward the last half of the year. So anyway, long story short, I didn't make $100,000. I made like $93,328.58 or something like that. And I was not depressed. I went, wow, this worked. And my wife says, if this works for 100,000, you think it'll work for 1 million? And I said, I do. Let's do it. So we put $1 million thing on this. And I normally in my seminars, I would show you a check made out to me for $1,136,000 from my Chicken Soup for the Soul publisher for 1/4 royalty. That was a $6 million year. Just incredible. So it works. It works.
Wow, that's amazing. It's a continual process. It's not just one activity that takes place, but it's that ongoing process, and continue to be creative and continue to take the action in that space.
Yeah, I think you have to respond to inner guidance, because what happens is you start doing the tools that we teach, but then what happens is you're going to get things in your environment that attract your attention. You're going to see that article or that person, or you're going to get an inner download that says, do this. And if you do it, that's a lot of people don't, because it seems weird or uncomfortable or whatever. It's a matter of the inner and the outer work going together and working together, and then you get feedback from the outer world, you respond to that, and you keep on correcting, and eventually you get to where you want to go.
Jack, thank you very much. And once again, for the viewers, this is Jack Canfield, author of Chicken Soup for the Soul and Success Principles, and one of the featured stars in The Secret. Jack has been around for at least 20 years.
I'll be 77 just in August. Yeah.
Been around for quite a while. So for those of you who like this content that would like to get more of it, remember to subscribe, link, and share. And you've got the subscribe button there at the bottom of the screen. So thanks again, Jack, for joining us. And we're going to share this with as many people with the world.
Oh, my pleasure, Steve. Thanks for inviting me.
If you would like to watch more videos like this, then please subscribe to my channel below. Once again, my name is Stephen Dobos, and you can download a free centering exercise. The information is in the description box below.